What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Son of a Tech once again, and today we're going to talk about possible vulnerabilities that could be in your Claymore dual miner. For clarification, before we get started, some of this information could be used maliciously, and that is not the intent. Please do not use it maliciously. This is to inform you, the miner, of ways you can protect yourself from any sort of malicious attacks that could be done over the particular miner in reference today, so stick around. Welcome back. So first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about what this vulnerability is. It is all kind of encompassed within the remote management features of Claymore's dual miner. There are a couple issues here where in 10.1, it was even accessible over read-only. So if you're on Claymore dual miner's read-only or 10.1, sorry, you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade to 10.2, where they went ahead and fixed this bug, and I'll leave a link to the article with that report down here. Without further ado, let's talk about the rest of this. Moving on over, we're going to be talking about this particular miner right here, and this is the Bitcoin talk thread. And it comes with a little piece of software called Ethman when you download it that you can use to remote manage all of your servers. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this from list. And I set up a miner on a local network to give you guys an example here. But essentially what happens is you can enable remote management with -m port. But what happens is when you enable that remote management, it unlocks read and write privileges, even in Claymore Dual Miner 10.2. So if you have a remote management port open to, say, like port 88 in this example, then I can go ahead and get full read and write privileges just by even running Ethman here and putting in my IP for my miner and the port, and I don't even need a password here, and watch, it'll let me connect. And so now that we've connected, we can pretty much do anything we want, from restarting to the miner to enabling and disabling GPUs, to even editing the config file and sending a new config.txt file, which means, yes, I could even be as malicious as turning the fans all the way down to 0% and burning up this user's miner. And now, granted, you would have to open this port up to the public internet for people to find it, and the way you would do that would be going into your router and going ahead and port forwarding to port 88 and this local IP address, and then at that point you could access it across the internet. But if you do not specify the port password or the remote management password, it will not prompt you or correct you in this fatal mistake that could really cause havoc on your day. So the way you can actually enable that, and it's on the Bitcoin talk thread, is with -m password, so -mpsw. So if you're going to be specifying a port for remote management, make sure you also specify a password. And the reason is even though you might think, oh, well, nobody's going to know my IP, blah, 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 I'll show you a quick tool here that people are using to find IPs of Claymore dual miners, and it's called ShowDan, which is for searching for IoT devices. And so if we're looking for an IoT device that's connected, that's Claymore dual miner, we could just type in something that would be coming up on the console, like ETH-total speed. So you know how the Claymore dual miner will output ETH-total speed, and you'll be able to get it. If I click search here, all of these results start coming up because these are being treated as IoT devices that I can then get all of the IP information for, even so far as to I can even view the console of all of these miners. Now, if I'm being malicious, which I'm not currently, and I don't recommend that you guys are as well, is I could go through this entire IP list and hit every IP with even just the built-in Ethman here, until one pops up and lets me control it. At that point, I could do anything from change its mining address to my wallet, to being more malicious and setting the GPU fan speed to 0% and burning up their rigs, etc. As you can see here, there are 81 results just off of this that I was able to find quite quickly that I can go through. Currently opened up to the public, there are something like 600 that I've gotten total reports on that are open to the public and are running 10.1. And the problem is, if we go over to this full disclosure, in 10.1, Claymore's dual miner's remote management interface is prone to an unauthenticated remote stack buffer overwrite that can be triggered by simply sending an overly long API request to the management interface, resulting in an unbound. And you'll see here what happens is that it affects not only if you have mport enabled, but it also works in read-only mode, which is -port. So in conclusion, to solve this on your end, there's two things you're going to want to do. Make sure you update to the latest Claymore's dual miner, which is going to be 10.2, to prevent the read-only problem with the API overload. And then on the other side of things, the next thing you're going to want to do is, if you're using any sort of remote management and you're accessing across the internet, or even on the local connection in your house, be sure that you go ahead and set the port password or the remote management password with -mpsw. What you want to do then, and what I recommend doing, is going to random.org and clicking the password generator and having it generate a lengthy password, at least 14 characters, with special characters, etc., and then using that for your remote password, because unfortunately, what you could do here, because of the way they wrote the APIs, it's very easy to just open up into a terminal and then run what is known as a brute force attack against your miner. So you're going to want to make sure that if you do have it open, you have more than just, a couple letters and a couple numbers in a password. All this information was brought to light to me by a fellow Discord member, who I will leave nameless at this point, just because I'm not sure if he wants me to share his name, etc. But if you want to come chat with him, I'm sure if you hop into our Discord with the link in the description below, he will say hi and go into further detail. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next Tuesday.